You know that feeling. It's 2 a.m., and you suddenly decide to change your entire life. You buy the running shoes, organize your desk, and promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. And for a few days, it actually works. You feel unstoppable, disciplined, and finally on track. But then, life happens. You miss one workout, or maybe you have just one cheat meal. Suddenly, that blazing fire of motivation vanishes, leaving you right back where you started, feeling guilty. We are told that success requires passion and drive, but that advice is completely setting us up. The truth is, relying on motivation isn't just ineffective, it is actually the reason you fail. Today, we are dismantling the myth of willpower and building a system that actually works forever. To understand why motivation fails, we have to look inside the brain at a chemical called dopamine. Most people think dopamine is about pleasure, but neuroscientists know it is actually about craving and anticipation. When you visualize your future success, your brain releases dopamine, making you feel like you achieved it. This phenomenon is called symbolic self-completion. You get the reward before you have even done the work. Buying the gym membership feels like getting fit, so your brain marks the goal as accomplished. Consequently, when the time comes to actually run, your brain has no chemical incentive to push. Motivation is essentially a borrowed feeling. You are taking an emotional loan against your future energy. Eventually, the debt comes due. The high wears off, and you are left with the hard work. This creates a cycle of yo-yo productivity, high peaks of excitement followed by deep valleys of shame. We mistakenly label this crash as laziness, but it is just simple biology working against us. Your brain is designed to conserve energy, not to expend it on difficult tasks without immediate reward. So, if we cannot rely on feeling good to get things done, what is the alternative? Let's talk about willpower. We treat it like a muscle that we can flex whenever needed. But in reality, willpower is a finite resource, more like a battery that drains throughout the day. Every decision you make, from what to wear to what to eat, depletes your mental energy. This is known as decision fatigue. By the evening, your ability to resist temptation is basically zero. Relying on willpower means you are fighting a war against yourself when you are at your weakest. Successful people do not have more willpower than you. They just use it significantly less often. They structure their lives so they don't have to constantly choose between the easy and hard path. If you have to debate going to the gym every single day, you have already lost the battle. Motivation asks you to be heroic every day. Systems allow you to be human and still win. We need to stop trying to overpower our brain and start outsmarting it through environmental design. This shifts the focus from internal strength to external structure, which is far more reliable and sustainable. Imagine if you didn't need to try to do the right thing. It just happened automatically. That is the power of a system. It removes the friction between you and your desired behavior. Motivation requires you to feel good. Systems work regardless of whether you are tired, sad, or angry. So, how do we actually build these systems? It starts with the concept of friction management. Human behavior follows the path of least resistance. We naturally gravitate toward whatever is easiest to do. If checking your phone is easier than writing your book, you will always check the phone. To change behavior, you must increase friction for bad habits and decrease friction for good ones. This is the 20-second rule. Make the desired habit take 20 seconds less to start doing. Want to practice guitar? Don't keep it in the case. Put it on a stand, ready. Conversely, if you want to stop watching TV, take the batteries out of the remote control. It sounds trivial, but these tiny barriers give your rational brain enough time to regain control. You are designing an environment where doing the right thing becomes the default option, not a choice. Motivation tries to push the boulder uphill. Environment design clears the path so the boulder rolls. Look at your workspace right now. Is it designed for focus or is it designed for distraction? Every object in your room is a cue that triggers a specific behavior or thought pattern. Your phone is a cue for scrolling. Your couch is a cue for relaxing and laziness. You need to separate your spaces. Create a dedicated zone where only deep work happens. When you enter that space, your brain knows exactly what time it is. No willpower required. But environment is only half the battle. We also need to change how we view progress. Most of us wait for inspiration to strike before we take action. This is completely backward. Inspiration does not cause action. Action causes inspiration. The momentum comes after you start moving. This is the do something principle. Even a small, imperfect action generates the momentum you need. You don't need to feel like working out. You just need to put on your shoes. Once you start the task, the pain of anticipation vanishes, and the work becomes surprisingly easy. We procrastinate because we visualize the entire mountain. You only need to look at the first step. Break tasks down until they are so small that it would be ridiculous to say no. Don't aim to write a chapter. Aim to write one terrible sentence. Anyone can do that. By lowering the bar, you bypass the brain's fear response and slip straight into the workflow. Consistency matters far more than intensity. A small effort every day beats a heroic effort occasionally. Motivation is for amateurs. Professionals show up and do the work, regardless of how they feel. This shift from feeling to doing is the defining characteristic of high performers in every field. They don't rely on the spark. They built a furnace that keeps burning through the cold. And the fuel for that furnace isn't excitement. It is something much deeper. Your identity. This brings us to the final and most important layer of behavior change. Who you are. True change is identity change. You can't just change what you do. You must change who you are. If you say, "I'm trying to quit smoking," you still identify as a smoker who is struggling. If you say, "I am not a smoker," you have fundamentally shifted your internal view of yourself. Your behaviors will always align with your identity. You act like the person you believe you are. Stop focusing on the outcome, like losing 20 pounds. Focus on becoming a healthy person. Ask yourself, what would a healthy person do in this situation? Then, simply do that thing. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. You don't need a landslide victory to win an election. You just need a majority of votes. You will slip up. You will cast votes for the old identity. That is totally fine. Just make sure that the next vote goes toward the new you. Keep the ratio positive. Over time, these small actions calcify into a solid identity. You stop trying to be disciplined. You simply are disciplined. It becomes part of your DNA, requiring no extra energy to maintain. This is the ultimate goal. When the habit becomes part of you, motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth. You do it because it is who you are. Reaching that state of automaticity is the secret to long-term success and genuine life transformation. So, stop waiting for the lightning bolt of motivation to strike. It is not coming to save you. Accept that your willpower is finite, and stop fighting a war you are destined to lose. Design your environment to make the good habits easy and the bad habits incredibly difficult. Start before you feel ready. Let the action generate the feeling, not the other way around. And finally, shift your focus from achieving a goal to becoming the person who achieves it. The path to greatness isn't paved with adrenaline. It's paved with boring, consistent, imperfect action. Progress doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in quiet decisions, made consistently. If this video helped you see things more clearly, take the next step. Subscribe to Vision Sprint and start turning vision into action. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.